What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a hump day edition of Morning Scone presented by Barack Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Pumped to have you here this morning. What a game last night with LSU and Texas. A lot of fun to watch. Couple of really good pitching performances by both teams. The difference, of course, is Gavin Dugas, a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth, and that would be all of the scoring. What a game. We'll go through it a little bit here. And it was interesting, and that's one of those times where I really wish I was there to be in the post game, because there's a couple things I would have loved to have asked Jay Johnson after the game. But we'll get there. LeBaron Johnson from Texas was great. He went 5 innings through 92 pitches, struck out 9. He was awesome. So you tip your cap to that guy. He was dominant in a career-long outing. A guy who was a good prospect, has battled injuries. I think he'd only thrown 6 innings this year. So to go 5 yesterday and to handcuff that offense was really impressive. LSU had a couple opportunities early in the game. Trey Morgan at second base, Jordan Thompson with the 2-out single up the middle, and Morgan gets gunned down at the plate. Just a fortunate bounce and a great throw by the center fielder, who was charging the ball and on one hop was able to glove it, which was a tough play, and then just delivered a perfect throw home. And then Tommy White had a leadoff double in the fifth. Leadoff double, I think, in the fifth, and Johnson worked around it again. So I know a lot of people are. So anyway, LSU had a few opportunities, and then in the 6th, you had first and second with 2 outs, and first and second with 2 outs, and Brady Neal up in a scoreless game where runs have been hard to come by, and Texas went and brought in a lefty. This is where I kind of would have liked to have asked Jay a couple things, but he had Brady Neal up, who's a lefty, and Texas went and brought in a lefty. And considering we've seen every game LSU make a defensive change at some point to put Milazzo in at catcher, I thought for sure in that situation, in a scoreless ball game, Jay would have gone with a right-handed hitter. Likely Paxton Kling. Could have also gone for Hayden Travinski, see if he could run into one. Jack Merrifield was there as well. So, you could have hit Kling and then moved Kling to the outfield, Morgan to first. You'd lost the DH, though, at that point. No, you wouldn't have. Milazzo would have caught. But Jones would have had to come out of the ball game. My point is, you had options there, and he stuck with Neal, and Neal struck out. And I think it was probably a situation where Jay just wanted to see how Neal handled that situation. And then again in the 9th, I was really surprised. Neal walks, and he's the potential go-ahead run. And then Thompson walks. So you got first and second, nobody out. I was, at that point, fall over stunned that they didn't run for Neal. That Stevenson or Mick Paul or one of those guys didn't go run for Neal. I mean, that's your potential winning run at second base. And you could bring in Milazzo to catch the 9th. So anyway, they did bring in Milazzo to catch the ninth anyway. So I was really surprised, man. Anyway, so that's just the kind of thing. It's not being critical. It's just really, I'm, I'm just curious what Jay was thinking in those situations, why he didn't make a couple of those changes when he had the opportunity. Maybe it was just a situation. Hey, look, early in the season, see how it goes. Like let's see how these guys respond in this situation. So, but man, that's cool environment. I mean, that was a Friday night SEC environment in February. So you love to see that, man. You love to take your guys on the road to go play that game, to experience that environment, what it's going to be like whenever. I mean, they could have come home and they could have played Houston Baptist. They could have come, or they could have played Lamar. They could have played anybody on a Tuesday night at the box, and could have brought in Grambling, and instead you went and played at Texas. And I think that game is more valuable to your team than run ruling someone at the box. So I was glad to see it. How about Gavin Dugas with the homer? Awesome. Not only that, but man, he made an awesome defensive play in this game. Ball that went off of Thatcher Hurd's glove, and Dugas ranged over and made a dive and stop and made the throw at first. Thatcher Hurd, was really nice to see him settle in after a rough first outing. Hurd went 4 2/3, just 3 hits. He did walk 3, struck out 4, but didn't allow a run. He wiggled off the hook a couple times. Got a great double play on a liner to Jordan Thompson at short. Induced another ground ball double play, 6-4-3. So when he got into trouble, he was able to get out of it. So that was great to see. And then Nate Ackenhausen, y'all, if you didn't watch the game, Nate Ackenhausen was dominant. He faced one batter over the minimum. He gave up he gave up a double off the wall, but that was the only hit he gave up, and he struck out 4 through 3 1/3. Didn't walk anybody. I mean, he was dominant. He was awesome. And then Christian Little got the save, came in and faced the minimum in the ninth. And I really like Christian Little in that role. I think that's the role Grant Taylor was going to have on this team. I like Christian Little in that role. Bring that big dude throwing 97 out the bullpen in the ninth inning. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So anyway, okay. Let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. Thanks as always for being here. YouTube, please smash that like button. Facebook, please like the page, share the post. Like the page, share the post. Hey, Kelly Groves, good morning. Dad, good morning. Loving my Tiguan. All right, Dad. That's right, my dad traded in his Passat. Got a Tiguan over at South Point Volkswagen. So check him out. Ryan DeLon, morning, Matt. Great win. The number of strikeouts at the plate is the only concern right now. Yeah. Listen, when you face good pitching, you're going to strike out. I mean, that's just a reality. Now, striking out 16 times, that's a problem. And we're starting to see who the culprits are. Braden Jobert struck out 3 times last night and was not competitive at the plate. Jared Jones struck out 3 times and was not competitive at the plate. Ben DePolt was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Now, Dylan Cruz struck out twice last night as well, but I mean, that's everybody struck out. Let's see, the only player, every player in the lineup, every starter struck out last night. Dugas once, Cruz twice, Jobert 3 times, White once, Morgan once, Jones 3 times, Neal twice, Thompson once, Nepal twice. So everybody struck out. And sometimes you have to tip your cap to the other guy. The bigger problem I have with the strikeouts are the bats or the at-bats that aren't competitive. So like when they're facing LeBaron Johnson, so Texas's starter, he was great last night. But they also worked him up to 92 pitches through 5 innings. So they made that guy work, and they got him out of the game after 5. So, and then you saw a parade of Texas relievers. They ended up using 1, 2, 3, 4. They used 5 relievers, Texas did, because you were able to chase Johnson after the 5th inning because his pitch count got so high. So I can stomach a strikeout. I just need productive ABs. Like the big problem that I have, and I'm not dismissing the strikeout comment because you struck out 16 times. Like you get 27 outs in the game. 16 times you didn't put the ball in play. Like that's a problem. But like whenever it was the sixth, hang on, when Tommy White led off with the double. No, I'm sorry. That's when Neal struck out to end the inning. The fourth is when White led off with the double. So White leads off with a double. Trey Morgan strikes out. Jared Jones strikes out. Brady Neal strikes out. You get a leadoff double, and the next three guys don't put the ball in play. That's a problem. Like, that's where I go, that's the problem. And all three struck out swinging. So they were up there hacking. They weren't looking. But situationally, those are the kind of things where you've got to find a way to put the ball in play. Brad Davis, good morning. Jason Lostness, good morning. Trivia Carter, Dalton Barnett, Wendell Norman, Damon Gilmore, what's up? Jay Reach, what's going on? Tim Gotro, shout out to Leah Van for mentioning yesterday Dugas playing great defense in addition to the way he's swinging it. Absolutely. Leah mentioned that on AFR yesterday, and it's so true. I tweeted after Dugas made the diving stab in the hole and throw. I said, that second base was a position battle coming into the season, and Gavin Dugas put a stranglehold on it. And of course, in the ninth, he hits the 3-run bomb. So that's like that one. That's not a position battle anymore. I mean, Gavin Dugas is your guy. Cody Kibido, good morning. Brad David, why did Polian not work out as special teams coordinator? It's a great question. I'm not in the building every day, so I don't know how special teams meetings and planning and all that went. But yeah, dude's out of position and using bad technique regularly, and that falls to coaching. Devin Kelly, good morning. Brett DeGrow, Jason H, Brittany Straub, Nate Ackenhausen. My God, Nate, if you didn't watch the game, then you missed Nate Ackenhausen. Like, Ackenhausen threw, I mean, he just pumped strikes. Ackenhausen threw 3 1/3. He threw 39 pitches. They don't have his breakdown. Balls and strikes thrown. Oh, I wish they had that. I mean, if he threw 39 pitches, he threw 31 strikes. I mean, he just pumped strikes. It was awesome to see. Zach Swan, Hunter Lovell, good morning. Jesse Brown, Thomas Lamont, takeaways, encouraged by Hurd, pitching in general, strikeouts are a concern. Joe Pa, what's going on, Joey Painich? Good to see you, man. Miss old Joe Pa on our companion shows. Reed rule also during the Neal AB when Texas's lefty stopped his windup and threw to third. How was that not considered a balk? That's a really good question, and I don't know the answer to that. So what Reed's referring to, in the sixth, there was first and second, and they bring in the lefty to face Neal, and he balks. So he starts his windup, and he stumbles and doesn't throw the ball. So it's balk. So the runners advance to second and third. Well, there was another situation where he kind of stumbled and threw to the third baseman who was not covering the bag. My understanding was, and Painich is watching, maybe he can confirm this or answer this if he knows it. My understanding was you have to throw to someone covering the back. I think you could throw to someone at third. Like the third baseman was off the back. I mean, he was playing at normal depth, and he just threw over to the third baseman kind of to avoid the stumble. I thought that was a balk too. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know what the rule is, but anyway, that was weird. And that obviously would have scored the first run of the game. Hunter Broadhead, Larry Garner, Cajun Country, good morning. Christian Little in the ninth, slamming the door was awesome. He was. Armstrong, I love Little and Floyd where they are, coming out of the pen late in games. Ackenhausen, Cooper, setup guys. Trick is to figure out who can get us to the fifth. I don't think that's a problem. I mean, Thatcher Hurd, when he's, healthy, full strength, in form, is that guy. I mean, is undeniably that guy. You just need to get him there for the start of conference play. All right, YouTube, please smash that like button if you would. Facebook, like the page, share the post. David Coslin, Bubba Smith, Ryan DeLon, what's going on? Earl, great game last night. A lot of swing and miss. We haven't made it to the SEC yet. Approach to the plate's not good. How many times we struck out this year? So I looked it up last night. LSU was fourth in the SEC in strikeouts. I don't know if that was. I looked it up during the game. I guess that number was before the game. So, and sometimes that is just approach. Like if you say the approach to the plate's not good, sometimes that is just the approach. Like if you are going to be a power hitting team, you want guys swinging the bat, because the trade-off is, and this is kind of, and I don't know if this is their approach, but the trade-off in baseball now is you'll take the 1-for-4 game with 3 strikeouts if the one is a 3-run homer. I mean, that's what Major League Baseball has become. So maybe that's what LSU is implementing. Maybe, I don't know. But when you have Braden Joubert in the lineup, he's in the lineup to hit homers. When you have, Bear Jones in the lineup as your first baseman, and you put Morgan in left, it's because Jones is in there to hit homers, So, like, you want those guys up there taking their hacks. And so that you're going to see him strike out. The problem, for me anyway, with a guy like Joubert, for example, that was his problem a year ago. He had 149 at-bats last season. He struck out 50 times. He struck out 1 out of every 3 at-bats. That's not good. Now he hit, 18, 19 homers, whatever it was. So that's your trade-off. The problem I have with Joubert in the 3-hole is if you're going to have that much swing and miss, then you're not giving protection to Dylan Cruz. In I think it was the 8th. Let me see if I have, no, maybe it was the 7th. They intentionally walked, well, let me rephrase that. They intentionally walked Cruz. It was a 4-pitch walk to Dylan Cruz. Let me see if this was in the 8th. It was in the 7th. So in the 7th, Thompson walks. Napolt grounds to a fielder's choice. Dugas popped out to the catcher. They intentionally walked Dylan Cruz. There's 2 outs, first and second. So go-ahead runs on second base. And Joubert is coming to the plate. Like, they walk Cruz. I keep saying it was the intentional walk. They didn't give him the pass, but they didn't throw him anything to hit. I mean, he just threw it all around the plate. It was the intentional walk. So they put Cruz on base. And so it's first and second, and they walk Cruz to get to Joubert. Well, in that situation, Joubert's got to make him pay. And he struck out on 4 pitches. He went strike, ball, fouled one off, and then struck out. So he foul tipped. Barely got it, and then struck out swinging. Like, that's the kind of situation where if they're going to pitch around Cruz, whoever's behind Cruz has to provide protection for him. And so I'm not saying take Joubert out of the lineup. What I'm saying is maybe that's a situation where you move Trey Morgan into the 3-hole. Because Trey is probably going to give you a more competitive at-bat. And then maybe you go Tommy White, then Jordan Thompson 5, and then Jones 5, Thompson 6 maybe. And then Joe Bear 7, Neal 8, Napolt 9. You know, those are options. We'll see. Matthew Denocola, Deborah Coward, good morning. So glad we didn't go to extra innings. Great pitching battle. Ray Wright, what's good, Ray Wright? Good to see you, man. Craig Duke got Red Panda tonight, yes. Senior night for the basketball team. Brant Roban, hey, Matt, took a while. Dugas pulls us through. Think that game will be good preparation down the road. Agreed. Earl, Texas records 3-5. They lost 100 homers from last year. No, look, they were an Omaha team last year, but they have arms. Like, Texas's bats are struggling, and they got swept the opening weekend. But they took 2 out of 3 from Indiana this past weekend, and they had, like, that's undeniable. They have arms. David Pierce has recruited arms to Texas. Melanie Wilson Willis, good morning, Matt. Love the defensive game. Very proud of this team. Been on the road for a week. It shows and helps build toughness. Brant Roban, what's going on? Defense is night and day to last season. Jay said that, and he's right. One thing about Jay you cannot deny is that he is candid. He'll tell you what's up. And like he told you they were going to be better defensively, and they have been. Jordan Thompson's been awesome. He turned 2 double plays last night. Trey Morgan's been really good in left, which a lot of y'all did not like hearing me tell you that Trey Morgan was going to play left field. And I'm not saying he's never going back to first. My guess is when Tommy White's able to play, again, they put Morgan back at first. They DH Bear Jones. White goes to third. Napolt goes to the bench. And Kling goes into the outfield. But Trey Morgan is going to play in the outfield, y'all, at the next level. He is not going to be a professional first baseman. You don't put athletic dudes at first base. You don't. You put Bear Jones at first base, the big 6'4", 230-pound kid that slugs homers. Hey, stand on first base, catch the ball, and slug homers. Bob Poole, any win over that program is a good win. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Let's see, Brant, how does Jay Johnson approach the strikeout issue? Go over film, coach them out. Yeah, I know everybody's asking about it, man. But I think you're overreacting. I mean, they faced a great pitcher last night. I mean, that dude was sitting 92, 93, had a cutter, a wipeout slider. He was awesome last night. I mean, you faced a great pitcher. That happens, you know. Like if flip it. When a team faces Paul Skeens and he strikes out a dozen of them, are they going, hey man, we need to fire our hitting coach? Or are they going, we just faced a guy that's probably going to be the first collegiate pitcher taken in the draft? Tyler Alexander, good morning. Scott Barnes, good morning. Brian Arsenault. Everybody's just commenting about the strikeouts. Like, again, y'all. Sorry. 754. Okay, a couple more minutes. So I shot to Brock, y'all. Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You need an orthopedist? Go to Brock. Need a roof? Give a shout out Hudco. HudcoRoofing.com. Hudco's pinned in the chat. Restored Motions. Got pain? Book a session with Crystal Poche. RestoredMotions.com. And ProCharge EV. ProChargeEV.com. EV chargers for home, office building, car dealerships. That's been the biggest surprise to me, or you know, the most urgent need for the EV chargers has been the dealerships, because they have to have them. Like, in order to get their inventory, their EV inventory from the manufacturer, they've got to have chargers at the dealership. So look, man, you work at a car dealership anywhere, by the way, the whole Gulf South, whole Southeast, inventory in stock can get you set up within 2 days. So anyway, Brady Smith, thoughts on the pitch clock resulting in walk strikeouts? I'm fine with it. And there's a big clock right next to the dugout. Look at it. It's the rule. And I like the pace of play much better. Trivia card with the bunt foul out, top 10. That was Ben DePolt. Great play. Hashtag never bunt. Shelby Kelly, there goes the boy from Homa again. Dalton Barnett, will the Malik Neighbors situation be handled in-house? Yeah, I don't think he'll miss time. Jason H, any new kicks? No. I got on some Navy Court Visions today. I think they're clean. But bummed I missed out on the drops last week, Jason. Michael Castello, what's going on? Let's see if I can get a few more. Brittany Strub, 32 of 39 were strikes. So it was a good guess. Talking about Nate Ackenhouse and threw 39 pitches. I said if he threw 39 pitches, I guess 31 of them were strikes. So 32 were strikes. Thomas Lamont, Tommy White seems like he's pressing. Good to see him at the Dublin walk last night. Maybe we'll get him going. Yeah, and the other thing too, Thomas, is you don't know how much the shoulder might still be bothering him. I mean, he separated his shoulder after his first AB of the season. So I'd imagine he'll get going and get healthier and more confident with the swing again. David Bailey C, do you think the Pelicans can win a championship in the future? Can they? Yes. They're still missing a piece. But like to the point that was, I think your point was just about being a small market team. Bailey, San Antonio Spurs became a dynasty for 15 years. They drafted well. You're not going to get premier free agents. You got to draft well. And you got to get lucky, and they did with David Robinson, with Tim Duncan. They got lucky with Tim Duncan. Robinson was hurt, and they got the first pick, and they won the lottery, got the first pick, got Tim Duncan. Well, Pels got the first pick twice. They got Anthony Davis, got Zion Williamson. Now you got to win with those guys. Got to get Zion on the floor, got to win with them. All right. Almost out of time here. Cody Brune, sorry if I got to go quickly. Shelby, I understand alternating righty-lefty. Our best first four is some combination of Dugas, Cruz, White, Morgan. Yeah, I would. Someone asked if Joe Barrett's going to get benched. I don't think that's the immediate response to this. I think the response is the first thing you do is you bump him down in the batting order. Because if he's supposed to be protecting Dylan Cruz and he's striking out that much, teams are going to take their chances with Brady Joe Barrett. And they're going to pitch around Dylan Cruz, and I don't want that. I would rather Trey Morgan in the 3-hole behind Dylan. And then you still maintain no, it's not right lefty because you got Gavin in there. So, anyway. Chris Keller, not sure if you saw my text about the Saints going after Fournette with Kamara's legal issues. Chris, we talked about Fournette yesterday on AFR. I think it was an hour 2, maybe the start of hour 2. Go check it out if you missed it. I think they should sign Leonard. I gave my whole opinion on why I thought they should sign Leonard Fournette. Mick Still, good morning. Daryl Fontenot, pitching was outstanding. Brian Arsenault, good morning. Dugas has anchored down the second base position. Yeah, he's stranglehold. He's been awesome. Earl, Ryan Amanda Guidry, Brian Penton, good morning from Maryland, headed to Michigan. All right, be safe on the road today. Daryl Fontenot, 10 games for SEC play, hitting will be fine. Look, there's going to be days where you struggle offensively. It's part of baseball. Yeah, Darren Gagnon, fielding has improved tenfold. Thompson especially. People forget, Jordan Thompson was very good in the second half of last season. He struggled early, and then anytime anything went wrong the rest of the year, people melted. He actually was very good the second half of the year last year. He's fantastic, man, and he's worked on it a lot, and it's great to see. All right, y'all, we're done. I got to bounce. Thanks so much for watching. LSU Daily is already live, so on your favorite podcast app, please subscribe. What else? AFR3, Scone and T tonight returns at Oliver Twist. Looking forward to that. T-Bob and I will be at Oliver Twist 7 o'clock, so we look forward to seeing y'all there. Okay, y'all have a great day. We'll see you. Peace.